So after episode 3 and 4 being the best episodes of this series and just the best episodes of Doctor Who in a really long time, we get Dot and Bubble, which going into the episode I thought it was going to be really bad, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, and it has an ending that we must talk about. So spoilers ahead, and with that I'll out of the way.
Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination.
So this was probably the worst episode of the season so far. It could get worse from here, but this wasn't a bad episode. It just was the worst out of all the episodes we've gotten so far, in my opinion. Like, overall, the episode was just really annoying. Like, I know the characters were meant to be unlikable. It doesn't help the fact that they were unlikable. The Lindy character is just really annoying. Her group of friends are really annoying. The likable character in this episode, Ricky September, was really cringe. And also, I kind of felt like the acting, I don't want to ever criticize someone else's acting, but I felt like the acting was just a little bit off from that character. I don't know if this guy is supposed to be a famous, like, singer or something in real life. I don't know. I just felt like the acting from the actor that played the character, I just felt like it was a little bit off. And I don't know. I felt like the whole persona was just, he was just cringe. He was like supposedly this good looking guy who's like perfect and good hearted and everything. I just felt like it was just cringe. But there was an interesting plot throughout the episode of who was killing the people in Fine Time. And it's an interesting commentary, I guess, for Gen Z or future generations with technology. At least that's what I got the impression of, like, the way the people were in this world. Also, it's a commentary of people of privilege and how certain people like to live in their echo chambers. And everything culminates in the ending of the episode, where we finally see the Doctor and Ruby, which they weren't really in the episode, and that's a complaint I'll talk about more later, but they're finally in the episode. Doctor's finally there, and it's the best part of the whole episode. It's a really great scene, beautifully directed, greatly acted by Ncuti Gatwa. This was like his moment. I felt like he had his moment in episode 3. He really had like a bigger moment in this ending. And I just don't get how people can say he doesn't feel like the Doctor. To me, he really feels like the Doctor. I don't know how else to say it. Like, this is who the Doctor is. Like, based off of the writing and the performance, it just feels like the Doctor to me. He wants to save everybody, no matter who they are or whatever. Like, no matter how dumb they are as a person or horrible as a person, he wants to save them. He wanted to save these people, and it like upset him to his core that he couldn't save everybody. Even pleading with them to come into his TARDIS, and it broke his heart that he couldn't save them, even how despicable they are. The performance was just really well done. The music playing, it screamed Doctor Who to me. This screamed as we are seeing a continuation of the Doctor. Just, this is the Doctor to me. Ncuti Gatwa so far to me is a good Doctor. I need to see more from him to really get a grasp of like where I would place him, but so far I like him. I feel like this is the first time we're getting the Doctor back since the 12th Doctor, not including the 14th Doctor. Yes, he felt like the Doctor. The 13th Doctor didn't feel anything like the Doctor. It might have something to do with the writing. It could have to do with the performance as well. But the 13th Doctor would have just let them die and she wouldn't like care about it. You know, she'd be like, oh, okay, I'm going to go back to my TARDIS now with my fam. Haha. No, the 15th Doctor, this is accurate to and consistent to who the Doctor is. Like, look at the man's eyes. Like, oh, this screams of like a person who's been alive for so many years, who has dealt with so many things. And even though he was dealing with his trauma as the 14th Doctor, just one cycle of regeneration of resting isn't enough rest from like the hundreds of years, thousands of years he's had to suffer from loss and pain. You don't understand how old the Doctor is. And I know he rested as the 14th Doctor for one complete regeneration. Who knows how long he really rested for. It could have been for like 100 years or whatever. But that's still not enough time for the Doctor to fully heal. He's still a broken individual, and he might tell himself that he's okay mentally. Like, he might feel he's healed from his trauma, but this man has been alive for thousands of years. He's seen countless things over 100-year spans, over multiple regenerations, being different people over and over again. One regeneration cycle of healing isn't enough, and it shows here. And I don't know if we're going to see more of a darkness to this doctor, more pain within him. He's going to lose more in the future, and I think it's nice to know that the doctor has healed a bit from his trauma, but not completely. I think the doctor is still broken on the inside quite a bit, but he isn't as mentally broken. Like he's running out of fumes. I think he still has like a lot of energy to save the universe, but the trauma from all he suffered for all those years, I think it's forever going to be within him. And that whole ending really felt like the doctor to me. But even though that ending was really great, this episode overall is just, it's frustrating, it's annoying, and I really felt like it could have been so much better. I think the social commentary was handled well, but even that could have been improved by a lot. And I really don't like talking about political things on my channel. Every time Doctor Who does go political, I try to like surface level talk about it because I don't really want to go too much into it because people feel a certain way about it. I'm also not really that educated on certain political topics, and a lot of it just flies over my head because I don't really pay attention to things that happen in the outside world. I'm kind of in my, I don't want to say I'm in my own little bubble, but you know, like I just focus on movies and TV shows and my personal life and whatever. But I could tell the social commentary here. It's not really social commentary. It's human decency. Those people in Fine Time were not good people. They had views that are really bad, and it's just common sense that these are bad views. I can't say what they really are because I think YouTube will strike my channel or something. I don't know the whole thing about saying the R word of what they are. Thinking one race is better than another is just horrible behavior. But like I said, I think the social commentary here was handled good, but I feel like it could have been handled even better. The way I feel like it could have been handled better is if the Fine Time people, especially Lindy, was more likable. And here's why I feel like they need to be likable characters instead of the most annoying characters possible and just being horrible people from the jump start. Because most of the time, people with these views are actually likable people and they hide their disgust. And it's really shocking when they show like who they really are on the inside. I've seen this firsthand. Like I've known people who really seem like the nicest and like most likable people, and then they'll say comments that are just like, what the heck? And then they'll say even more comments and they'll show something upon other people, and it's like, whoa, these people are pieces of garbage. Like, and you don't even see it coming. And I felt like this could have been handled better if we were rooting for Lindy because she was a likable character. This Fine Time world was a likable place with likable people, and then all of a sudden you get this twist and it's like, holy crap, what? Like, wow, that's just horrible. And then all of a sudden it's like your character you're rooting for, it's just out of nowhere they're just a piece of garbage, and now you don't know how to feel because, well, you know what the right and wrong thing is, but you don't know how to feel because it's like, wow, they're not likable now. They were likable, but they're horrible people because they think horrible things based off of just skin color. That's how I feel like it could have been handled better, and I just wish they weren't so annoying. It makes the episode just kind of hard to watch in general. And I think those hints could have still been implemented by still making them likable and decent people. Because a lot of the time, like I said, these people with these views, a lot of the time they are straight out unlikable and annoying and horrible people. But sometimes, or a lot of the time actually, they are likable people who aren't just selfish or whatever. But they just have these views, and it's horrible views. So like I said, I think it could have been better handled if the characters in Fine Time were likable and not annoying. And it would have been a stronger twist in my opinion. Because as it stands, they're unlikable from the start. Like the Lindy character sacrificed Ricky September and then lied about it. So you don't really care if she dies anyway. I know the doctor does, but they're all just so annoying. And then at the end of the episode, I'm just like, what's the point exactly? Like, you're not rooting for this character because you don't like them. The only reason why you find the episode interesting is because you wonder what's going on with the aliens, and you're just rooting for everyone to die basically because they're just unlikable people from beginning to end. And what makes it worse is they're annoying people as well. So the only interesting things in the episode is the little we see from the Doctor and Ruby, and the interesting world that the Russell T Davies set up in this episode with Fine Time, and like the plot of the episode, like what's going on What are the aliens doing? Why are they killing certain people in specific order? All of that was interesting, but the characters that we focused on the most in this episode are just so annoying and basically almost unwatchable. And also, it's kind of a little annoying too that we don't get the Doctor really again in this episode. I know, like in the past, in the Russell T Davies first era, there were episodes where the Doctor wasn't the main focus, or he wasn't even in the episode, or it's just mainly a companion-focused episode, or like new characters we've never seen before, like in Blink. And that's okay, but I don't think, and even in the original Russell T Davies era, I don't think we ever got 2 episodes in a row where the Doctor wasn't even in the episode. Yes, he was in this episode, but we barely saw him. We focused on a brand new character that was just annoying, the character of Lindy. But the little we did see from the Doctor, it was great. We're seeing the Doctor's first experience of another person treating him differently based off of his skin color, because he's never been this skin color before, at least from what he can remember. We're not counting the fugitive Doctor here, if she even is the Doctor. A conversation for another time. And by the way, I just also like the look on his face. He's just like, wow, people are just so stupid. They would rather die than come with me just based off of how I look. Like, it's ridiculous when you say it out loud, and it says it all in his face. He's like, wow. It's just really incredible acting and writing and directing in the ending, not throughout the entire episode. So yeah, like I said, I try to avoid talking about the subjects, stuff like this, when Doctor Who does bring it up. I kind of just skip over it, but I feel like I had to talk about it because I've seen it firsthand, like a bit more informed on it, I guess. I think everyone is. I think everyone's kind of seen stuff like this in real life to some sort of degree, whether it's subtle or it's in the form of jokes or whatever. It's a main focal point in the episode, so Doctor Who's kind of forcing me to say a bit of my opinion and, talk about the social commentary, the political. It's not even the political aspect. It's a social commentary aspect on, how certain people think. So with that all being said, I do feel like this is the weakest episode of the season. It's not a bad episode. It's not really a good episode. I'm going to give this episode 70%. It has an interesting plot. I did like the Doctor and Ruby in this episode. The ending was absolutely fantastic. The score was absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, this episode is plagued with unlikable characters who are just really annoying, and you don't really care for them, and you want them to die at the end. And I know the Doctor cares. You're supposed to feel a certain type of emotion in the end. I don't care. I just want them off my screen. I don't think they needed to be annoying to have that ending work, Also, it's annoying that we don't really get that much of the Doctor and Ruby. We don't have that many episodes this season, so not getting a lot of the Doctor is kind of not that great for his first season. And yeah, it's not as bad as I thought it was. It could have been so much better, though. Even though I feel like this is the weakest episode of the season, the first season so far, in my opinion, has been pretty good. Next week's episode looks really, really cool. It's giving off Bridgerton vibes. I feel like this next week's episode is going to be another really solid episode, or it could be a great episode, or even a bad episode, but we shall just wait and see.